Hi, I'm Mateusz, and today I want to talk with you about colors. If you want to get down to business, skip this part. I add a timeline for you in every video. When I started my adventure with miniature painting a few years ago, I went to a model making store and bought 5 or 6 paints, just to check out if this hobby is for me. I tried to mix colors I wanted, but I wasn't satisfied at all. I looked for tutorials on the internet, and I ended up buying more and more Citadel and Vallejo paints over following years. Every time I needed new color, I just went to a local shop and buy a bottle. Or 6. Then a breakthrough happened. I went to a workshop with Katarzyna Kacha-Górska, one of my favorite miniature painters, and noticed that she uses only a few paint bottles. She just mixed anything she wanted from those few. I thought, maybe you don't really need so many paints. And yeah, you don't. It's nothing wrong though, it's convenient to have everything pre-mixed, especially if you paint armies or a lot of similar minis. But in my case, I don't want only to paint more minis, but to become a better painter. And to achieve that, I need knowledge. How do colors work? How to shade? How to highlight? How to mix? How to create mood? So in this video series I want to talk about colors and light. In the following episodes I'll show you how to mix vibrant colors, how to make them lighter or darker, and even give you a way to mix basically any color you want. But before we get there, let's learn how to talk about colors. Our understanding of light is grounded in physics. I could tell you how Isaac Newton used a prism or how our eyes work, but there are plenty of sources on the internet. In example, you can check out this video. The important part for us as painters is that the white color contains a continuous gradation of colors. Wrapping those colors around the circle creates a color wheel. Newton was the first one to do this, and he identified 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. Over the years artists dropped indigo and concentrated on other 6. Artists generally regard yellow, red and blue as the most basic colors, calling them primary colors. The idea behind picking those 3 is that, in theory, it should be possible to mix any other color out of the 3 primaries. Mixing red, blue and yellow primaries creates secondaries: violet, green and orange. Easy, isn't it? Nah, not really, because there are more approaches to this topic. In example, in the world of photography and printing, CMYK color wheel is used. Cyan, magenta and yellow are the 3 colors that mix the widest range of highly saturated colors. K stands for black to print darker tones. And that's not all. There is also an RGB system that computer graphics artists and light designers use. Mixing red, green and blue light will give you white, but other combinations will give you basically any other light color. A combination of those 2 wheels is called a YURMBY wheel. Its advantage is that the colors are evenly distributed and you can easily identify strongest hues. So which one to use yourself? I would recommend using a good old traditional yellow, red, blue wheel. One reason is a simple force of habit. Cyan and magenta don't feel so natural for most of us. We accept red and blue as more natural at school and in early childhood. Second, a lot of composition and mixing tricks are based on this specific color wheel. For me, color wheel is like a map. It's useful if you want to get from one point to another, or you want to check a position of a specific color and find its neighbors. And you will use a different type of map to find your way through the mountains, and a different one if you want to check the weather. Hue, saturation and value are three characteristics that help you describe the color. In example, let's look at the green. Is it yellowish leaf green or bluish sea green? Is it vibrant or dull? Light or dark? Let's start with hue. This term is often used interchangeably with word color and refers to family to which color belongs. Royal blue, navy blue, ultramarine, ocean and sky blues are on a blue hue family. For the purpose of simplification and organization, the color wheel usually features 12 basic hues. Saturation, vibrancy, intensity or chroma, call it how you want, but it describes how intense or lively color is. On this color wheel we can see colors with their maximum saturation, but if we add gray or complementary, they will become dull, with low saturation. If you want, you can find a color wheel that will also include this characteristic. In this example, the closer you get to the center, the less saturated the color is. Value refers to color's lightness or darkness. To understand it, you should compare colors to grayscale, where white is the lightest and black the darkest. I'm intentionally not calling those two colors, because some artist might hurt me if I do. White is all of colors, and black is lack of colors. Now let's place different colors near this scale. You can easily see that yellow is very bright, ultramarine and violet appear very dark, and red is in the middle. Knowing that is super useful for color mixing purposes. You can, in example, use yellow to lighten other colors, or violet to darken them. You can find a color wheel for this characteristic as well. These ones are simpler, but still useful when we talk about color mixing. The tint is a color plus white. The shade is color darkened by black paint. And the tone is a color that has been mixed with a black and white, so gray. When talking about colors, we often characterize them as cold or warm. Warm colors symbolize sun and fire, whereas cold colors are associated with ice, water and sky. We can split a color wheel into where one side is cold and the other is warm. But when we talk about colors, we use temperature to describe them in relation to each other. In example, magenta is colder than red, but warmer than violet. When somebody talks about cold and warm blue, it simply means that one is warmer than the other. Any color that holds a position directly across the wheel from another is known as a complement. Yellow-violet, red-green and blue-orange. These complementary color pairs are most important in the world of pigments and color mixing. If mixed together, they form a dull gray, brown or neutral color. Also, if we paint them close together, they will look more saturated, intense. And here is a... well, I didn't paint any mini today, so I should probably skip this part. That was a lot of theory, but I believe now we will be able to better understand each other. All of these terms and knowledge will be very useful in the next episode of this series, which I plan to continue every few videos. If you don't want to miss it, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye!